Today we're going to be looking at Fisherman's Bay, guys, and we're going to be on the north side of this map. Recently I showed you the play that I like making in a light tank from the south spawn, and I actually gave you a few different options, but what I'm going to be showing you here is basically what I was telling you guys to counter from the south spawn, right? So again, we're going to be on the north spawn, we're in the Hawk 30, and I'm going to approach this bush line with the understanding that there might be another light tank in this area. There's 3 light tanks on each team in this particular game. So I take the long way around, I slide into this bush line, I'm not lit, I outspot the Hawk 30 here, and now what I'm going to do is sit here for just a second, and I want to come up like so, and poke this. I do like this. Poke up, I come back down, and I see if Sixth Sense goes off. If Sixth Sense does not go off, then I take this bush line and I come right into here. And why I do this is because if someone is sitting in this area, or even people are sitting where the M41 is, maybe, like if he pokes like right here, he might light me here, and I don't want to get lit as I'm coming into this bush line, because if I get lit, that's 3 seconds where I am uncertain if I am lit or not. And then people are going to poke up here and they're going to get shots to me and I'm going to die. So I like to spot check. This is what I call spot checking, to make sure that I'm not lit, and then I'm going to approach this bush line and get into here. Now, this particular game is not the greatest example of what you can spot here. We consistently spot the KPZ as he comes up. I wish I had a perfect example for you guys. I don't have a sheriff's account, so I can't just pick Fisherman's Bay. I might go 100 battles without ever getting, this north spawn again on Fisherman's Bay. So when I have the game, I want to show you guys it. And I'm a consistent enough player where, most of the time I'm going to have decent games that I can show you, show the newer players perhaps what you're capable of doing from the north spawn of this map, right? And again, I like to emphasize to you guys, because some people comment and say, like, your videos are not that informative or whatever. Like, on rare occasions I do get those, and just keep in mind, guys, like, I have a 57% win rate, right? That's what I average. I'm not like one of these 60% win rate Unicum 99th percentile players. If that's one of you, then you already know more than me, and this channel might not be that informative for you. I mean, you can comment and give advice if you want, but I make my channel with the hopes of helping kind of newer players and players that aren't quite as comfortable in their light tanks. That's how I approach my replays. So again, feel free to comment whatever you want, but just understand that I'm showing players how to play light tanks that are maybe a 50% win rate, 51%, 49%, whatever, something like that. Your average player, right? So just something to keep in mind as you guys watch these videos. If you want like Unicum advice, you can go to Kaizu, you can go to even Lemming Rush still has his videos up, you can go to Skill for LTU, obviously. Even Steel Guts is a really, really good light tank player, but him and I are about the same skill level. So just something to keep in mind, guys, and I want to emphasize that in this video, that if you're watching with the expectations that I'm like a Unicum player, I'm not, man. Like, again, I hold about a 2700 W&8 and about a 57% win rate. However, I hate talking about W&8 because, as you know, in light tanks, spotting damage does not take into account, or I should say, W&8 does not take into account spotting damage at all. There are games that I'll play on proc and do next to no damage with 8, 9, 10k spotting, and it's like a 200 W&8. So just something to note, guys, and something to keep in mind as always. So again, here we are spotting the KPZ. This is a really good bush line. Keep in mind, I also have 507, 508 view range with CVS. So anything that happens in this area, like anybody that's poking in this area, we should be lighting unless it's like an even 90 or some other light tank, or a really invisible tank destroyer, like, I don't know, an E25. You guys know what I mean. This is a tier 8, 9, 10 game, but that's the example I'll give you. Like, these really, really high concealment tank destroyers. So I'm going to poke up in this bush line now, and this is how you can progressively scout this portion of the map. I like to move from here once I realize that this is kind of one, and then I'll come up to this bush line. And from this bush line, usually you can spot, like, see where the T30 and the Waffle are. If they move back there, and a tank like the T30 doesn't have great concealment, you can spot him from here. And then you also it's much easier for you to spot people that are poking up in this entire line. So you get like a good, I don't know, 75 meters closer or whatever. And that's going to assist you in lighting like anyone now, even the high concealment tank destroyers that poke up in here. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to wait for this Monkey King to go down. I don't know where this Monkey King is. He's kind of a question mark. If this guy wasn't on the map, I would have already advanced and cleaned up the rest of this team here. But the Monkey King is a question mark, and I'm kind of hoping that the EBR, the Indian, are going to go like this, or the heavies are going to push it. And then the KPZ appears over here as well. And the heavies are also pushing. So I'm kind of just waiting for this game to progress just a little bit more so I have an understanding of where these guys are on the map. And then I'm like, all right, man, it's time. Like, I need to get going here. So I start pushing this. And what I'm going to do is just poke right up here. IS-7 might like me here, whoever. But we're able to spot the Waffle and the T-30. And I'm going to continue poking up here. I think the Monkey King probably got an angle on me here because I get lit and I get spotted. Luckily, I don't get hit at all. But Monkey King, I think, had the, and this is why, the Monkey King was a question mark, right? So I wanted to make sure that this guy was at least over here, and he ends up being over here. But again, he was the only tank we didn't really know about, and the Ho-Ri, but I imagine that the Ho-Ri is probably in the back. But you just have to be careful the way you poke here, because there's a gap right here, right? Like under the trees, this Monkey King can spot me, and he did, and that's what happened. Now that I've knocked this tree down, I'm kind of hidden to, you know, continue poking here, right? So I spot the Waffle again. I'm able to get an HE into him. I'm trying to do a little bit of damage at this point. And that's it, guys. That's how you're spotting this map. Now, the east of this map won. If the east lost, then you'd probably have to go back, and there's bushes that you can sit in all the way back here on like A4, A5, where you can scout to defend your base. But in this replay, in this video, you know, we had the better team, so I was able to advance, and this is kind of how you're going to do it. I'm going to get a shot into the Monkey King on the move here, and I'm going to start going in for some damage. And you'll see here that I actually come up and over this little bunker thing here, and I jump on top of the Monkey King. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty funny, man. So I'm going to come around the corner here. Actually, I don't want to get hit by the Monkey King. I'm going to go after the Ho-Ri instead, because he's got his back facing me. Ho-Ri gets cleaned up, and now here's the Monkey King. He's trying to, I guess, angle his armor, you know, try and go after me here. They have pretty trollish armor. And then I'm going to come up and over, and I'm just going to like land on top of this guy, because at this point I have nothing to lose. So I come up and over, kind of land on this guy, hip hooray, 34 damage more for me. And now I'm going to track him. Like, I want to try and hit this guy in the track, so maybe I can get a little more assist damage. I'm already getting some of the spotting damage. But keep in mind the way your score is calculated for your marks of excellence is that it only takes either track damage or spotting damage into account. Both are considered assist damage, but they don't add up. So if you do 1,000 damage, 1,000 assist damage by tracking someone, and you do 1,500 assist by spotting people, only the 1,500 is going to apply to your mark of excellence. This is really important to know, because I feel like hardly anybody knows this, but I know this. I learned it from one of the streamers that I watch. It might have even been Steel Guts. I think he was the one that said that. But anyway, this is the game on Fisherman's Bay, guys. I did a pretty good overview the last time we were on this map, but you really want to bring yourself west or mid. I would never go east on this map with a light tank. You can try and experiment with it if you're decent with brawling or whatever, but just every time I've tried it, it doesn't work for me. I'm always open to trying new things, so that's why sometimes I will just go here just to see, like, what can I do? Like, one time from this spawn, I went all the way to like F9 or whatever this is over here to see if I can hold this area of the map, but I didn't get a lot of support here, and people ended up poking out like this. Like, a guy literally came all the way out here to kill me, and I guess like no one was paying attention back here, and it didn't work out. So it's just always something that I like to really highlight for you guys. Like, you're in a random battle, so you can only rely on your team so much. In fact, you can't even really rely on your team at all. You don't know anybody on your team unless you're in a platoon. But at some point, you have to start trusting your teammates. And I know some people like to comment and say, you're always alone. But, like, dude, you're in a light tank. You need to spot for your team at some point, and you need to advance at some point to try and win the game, right? So even if you don't trust your teammates at all, at some point, like, you're going to have to take a risk in order to win the game and hope that they're going to back you up. So that's how I feel about that, guys. But again, I'm not going to go into map overview on Fisherman's Bay. I think I've said everything I wanted to in this replay. I think you've seen an example of how to scout the north of this map, and I also showed you how to scout the south of the map, or sorry, from north spawn and south spawn to scout the west side of this map. So I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, you can always comment below. So let's take a look at the emplates. This is a second class, 2101 spotting, 1344 damage, a pretty standard game for me in the Hawk 30 on this map. 1344, 1 kill, 920 experience. We're like in the middle of the pack, guys. You know, no big hip hip hoorays here. 25k we got from this battle, and we only fired 9 shots. 8-minute game is pretty standard on Fisherman's Bay, I think. Like, everything about this game is just pretty standard and normal, but I will just continue to bring you guys any examples I can on the maps that I get onto, right? Because I don't have a sheriff's account, so anytime I think the video is going to possibly help out a newer player, even if it's just getting to an initial bush and explaining a little bit how the map works, I'm going to do it. Like I told you guys from the beginning, I want my videos to be informative and help you guys out, but if you're already as good as me at this game in light tanks or better, it might not be helping you that much. So I have to re-emphasize that, guys. If you are learning from the content, do sub though, it really helps me out. And like the video, guys. You can share it with anybody that you know that might be interested in it. And again, comment if you have any questions. Like, I'm here to help you guys out. There are a lot of big time CCs that can't respond to all your comments and all, even though they might be a better player than I. But because I only have like almost 1,000 subs, right? It's easy for me to just see the comments on my phone and I can get back to you guys. All right. So that's all. Hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you for the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye, guys.